Markets are down, sentiment down, calls for this cycle to be over, up. That's where we stand now. I think macro is really leading this in the past week or so. I feel like the macro fears have really taken a hold here. For me personally, a lot of the people that I follow, a lot of the, I would say, leading, smartest people that I follow have started to become cautious, if not outright bearish. So, for example, this amazing account, Citrini, that I follow, he's he focuses more on TradFi stuff, but he's been killing it this year. And he had a comment earlier this week saying that for his latest newsletter, hey guys, basically the gist of it is, but hey guys, we might be heading into a recession. And to have this guy say that, it makes me pause. Then you have Lynn Alden. Pretty much everybody knows Lynn Alden, and she was on Monetary Matters with Jack Farley. Great show. And the title of the show, I think, is enough to give you a feeling for her take, which is AI is hiding a weak U.S. economy. Ruh-roh. Then you have news from this past week. Also, the Japanese 30-year sovereign bond. The yield on this thing is at an all-time high. I think ever since its debut in the 90s. This is obviously not good for Japan. It means that people are Japan is having to offer a higher yield to attract people to take on its debt. Japan is in the process of releasing a stimulus package, so that could help. But at the same time, this kind of yen carry trade thing also has implications. So again, you have a lot of kind of big macro things, I think, that are going to tumble or push around smaller markets like crypto. Having said all that, though, Graham, really, I think for the past week and a half, but definitely this week, people in crypto have been wrestling with this fact that Bitcoin and crypto have underperformed other markets this year. Year's not over. The year's not over. We still have, 5 weeks left to save this, but it's something that's been talked about a lot, and it is kind of by its nature a bearish thing, right? Why has Bitcoin underperformed? What's going on with this? And I've seen 2 or 3 kind of major explanations being tossed around. The first is that basically crypto is no longer the main character. It's no longer the speculative darling that it was. That has been taken over by AI and TradFi equity access to these AI companies. And so that hot ball of money that really kind of pushed crypto up into the crazy returns that we saw in the past and the speculative bubbles has now moved on to the new hot shot, which is AI. And so the idea being that crypto now has to kind of stand on its own 2 feet, be valued as you would a normal like sector. And this goes into the second major thing that I've seen on this week, which is the crypto valuations. We've heard this over and over again throughout the years, but crypto valuations are not connected to reality whatsoever. And so none of these things really produce a lot of revenue. And even if they do produce revenue, that then ties them to valuations that are still astronomical. And so a lot of this stuff has to be re-rated to approach reality and or just not be valued at all. moving forward. So again, these are kind of bearish, I would right overall bearish. However, the most interesting, or the what some of the people I follow considered one of the better explanations for why Bitcoin in particular hasn't performed well this year, comes from this TradFi account, Shy Girl, as in like Chicago girl. I've listened to podcasts for years and Spaces, but she had a great explanation, basically saying that it's not as simple as it's one explanation. It's it's several bunch of different things, but basically she says it's like a classic multifactor deleveraging cascade, right? And this is triggered by kind of the core conceits driving Bitcoin's bull run from 2024 to now, which is the U.S. Fed will be easing, and spot ETFs plus institutional adoption will create a massive bull run, right? And we saw this throughout 2024 and maybe partly in 2025. And so those narratives, or those driving forces, have ended, and thus you have the reason why Bitcoin is where it is. Basically, 5 factors. There's the macro triggers that kind of we discussed before, which is right now it looks like the Fed is not going to be as dovish as everyone expected. I think earlier in this year, right, the pricing in of cuts was much higher, and now the December cut is below 50%. I think it's like 30%. So that's going to have an effect. You see that the ETFs have been selling of late, right? The inflows have been net outflows, right? The outflows have been greater than the inflows. The DATs, that DAT thing is done for the time being, so that sell pressure is over.
Buy pressure.
Sorry, that buy pressure is over. The what's it called? Long-term Bitcoin holders, the thing we've talked about before, these OG whales have been selling the heck out of Bitcoin for the past like 2 or 3 months. I think it's like 800,000 Bitcoin total in 90 days or something. A crazy amount of Bitcoin. And then you had the leverage wipeout still having effects from last month, the 10/10 flash crash. And basically, she's saying that all of these things are contributing to Bitcoin going down, and there really aren't any buyers at these levels right now where we're at. She's constructive, I would say, which is where we're waiting to see where buyers start to step in. And she believes that these OG whales, or even maybe big institutional players, they're just biding their time, right? So they offloaded a bunch higher, and they're happy to step in and buy in big boy size at some level. But where is that going to be? Is it going to be 80, as we've talked about? Will it go below that? I don't know. I felt like this thesis that she laid out was actually quite bullish, and it was measured. It wasn't like the sky's falling. It's just like, yeah, there's all these reasons why buying's not happening here, and she lays it out. It's a long thread, and now it's just kind of a waiting game to see at what point are these people who are very sophisticated going to step in and start gobbling up Bitcoin again.
Money, power, money, power,